Predicting the future is challenging, arguably one of the most difficult things we repeatedly attempt to do as humans. If you've ever been surprised by rain after a sunny forecast, well, you know what I'm talking about. Yet there's something about predicting the future that we find interesting, maybe even satisfying. Makes it hard for us to shake. I don't believe lotteries, casinos, or fantasy leagues are going away anytime soon. Now, Abraham Lincoln once said that the best way to predict the future is to create it. So what if, for a moment, we suspended our desire to predict the future, to get it right, to satisfy our egos? What if, instead of trying to predict the future, we focused on designing the future we want to create? Who am I? I'm a designer. Now, depending on who you speak to, that can mean a bunch of different things. You might be thinking some of those things right now, so let me help. I'm not good at PowerPoint or visual art. You can probably tell by my slides. In fact, I'm likely last on the list to beautify anything, yet hopefully high on the list to find the balance between form and function. As a designer, I believe that how we think about challenges informs our ability to find better solutions. I believe that understanding the real human experience of a product or service is paramount if we are going to better serve our customers and deepen our connection with them. I believe in building things like prototypes or experiments to fill the information gap that often exists between the present and the future to build confidence in the direction we should choose. I also believe in learning and drawing inspiration from seemingly unrelated sources to ideally unpack the wisdom of the universe. So to explore this tension that exists between predicting the future and designing the future, what if we explored coaching? Let's imagine a coach getting her team ready for a high-stakes game. I mean, imagine the highest stakes ever. Now, the coach doesn't know the outcome of the game in advance, though there are some fundamental things that she can do to help her team be successful. So she first studies the other team's history, their plays, to try to unpack their strategies. Then she builds tools like plays for her team so they could adapt to whatever's thrown their way. And lastly, she builds a team whose collective cohesion is stronger than the sum of each individual player. So as we think about work, life, society, what that will look like, I'll be the first to say I don't know. We're all players in this complex game called life, and many of the moves have yet to be made. However, as we evaluate the last 100 years, there are some trends that give me a high degree of confidence as to where we could focus. Technological advancements have continuously disrupted the status quo. Think the train, the car, the mobile phone. Consumer preferences and our environment are driving change unimagined just 10 years ago. Demographic shifts and employee demand are challenging our thoughts on belonging and cultural enablement. So with these trends in mind, as I think about 2030, there are some areas that I think we can focus, some skills that I think we could prioritize. I'm seeing continued demand for us to learn new skills, adapt to change, and collaborate in more effective ways. Let's start with learning new skills, one of my personal favorites. Advancements in technology have continuously changed the tools we use for work. We moved from the telephone to the computer, and now to never-ending Zoom calls. No offense to my current employer. With each advancement, there's a learning curve that involves letting go of the previous ways of working and embracing new approaches and new strategies. Technology and data are no longer just a function for IT. In fact, every organizational function, regardless of for-profit or not-for-profit, needs to understand how to leverage technology and data. The pandemic has ushered in a digital transformation in practically every industry. And over time, this impact will only deepen, forcing late adopters and those that thought that they were once protected against the need to invest digitally to adjust their strategies to remain relevant. Next, adapt to change. cemented in my brain from my days in the Marine Corps, where we were taught to adapt and overcome. Our preferences as consumers continue to evolve as the line between industries and markets continue to blur and blend. We're asking ourselves questions like, if I could use my biometrics to unlock my phone or get through security at the airport, why can't I use my biometrics to unlock my car or even start my car? Further driving change from seemingly unrelated industries. Our impact on our environment are forcing us to rethink things like travel, work, production. Supply chains and producers are being held more accountable for their impact, and consumers are seeking things like data and metrics to point their dollars in more impactful directions. Our planet and our grandchildren are going to need us to continue to adjust our thinking in order to find better processes and more sustainable solutions. And last, yet equally as important as the previous two, is collaborate more effectively. Businesses have evolved in size and scale from small mom-and-pop operations to large multinational organizations representing cultures and people from all over the world. We've moved from being locally limited to intercontinental business flights, collaboration, and now work from anywhere. The US Census indicates that among our 18 to 29-year-old workforce, people of color will become the majority in 2027. This signals not just a nice to have, but really a need to have for us to figure out how do we create belonging and inclusion for all within our cultures. Now, what does this mean for 2030? Well, your guess is as good as mine. Maybe virtual reality will eliminate our need to travel for work, school, or conferences. Maybe we'll find out that robots make decent colleagues for certain functions. Maybe physical spaces will become even more malleable and dynamic, giving way for shifting walls, ceilings, and floors. I don't know. Yet, one thing is sure. Whatever happens, how we work, how we live will need to adjust so that we can learn new skills and truly incorporate new technologies into our ways of working and our customs. Now, some of you are thinking, Dwayne, this is nothing new. And quite frankly, to a certain extent, you're right. We've done this for centuries. Medical advancements are helping us to live longer than ever. Technological advancements have continuously driven growth in our gross domestic product, a measure of the health of our economy. Yet, with the complexities of today's world and the challenging solutions required, we will need more of us working together. We will need more of us bringing our full selves to our work so that we can fully adapt, learn, and grow together. We will need to truly harness the power of diverse teams so that we can actually make leaps we once thought were not possible. This means not just building a team that looks or is diverse, yet creating conditions within those teams to ensure that each individual can fully contribute irregardless of their differences. Friends, I know this is possible because I'm so aware and so grateful for all the progress we have made to this date. And I'm equally excited to make even more progress and design this future with all of you.